Great Scott! It's Gigawatt! Welcome to Ghost Prime Transformers Reviews. Today, we're taking a look at Gigawatt. Gigawatt is the latest in the crossover series that brought us the Ghostbusters crossover earlier, and this is Back to the Future. It is I don't know if the Delorean's licensed because it doesn't actually have the logo on it, but it is licensed, I believe, from Universal Studios. And it has a ton of really great detail. His head sculpt's amazing. It has a really nice plastic to it. And I'm not sure if that's paint or if it's the actual plastic. It's got the sheen to it that's almost like the Masterpiece Generation 1 Megatron that we got. It's not quite just a gray or a silver plastic. It has this almost iridescence to it that's very nice. It is a heavy retool of the Siege Sideswipe figure, and as it does share some toolings like the crotch, the legs, the arms, the hands. Overall, though, it's mainly a brand new mold, but it has a lot of the same engineering. So there's a few of the same tricks that it does, but it has a lot of other tricks up its sleeve to the transformation. Overall, it's a really nice figure. I love the flux capacitor in the front and the time code here. It's really nice. I'll get on close to that in the review. It's just a well-detailed figure. They did make some changes to it versus what we originally saw. The production samples was they changed the glass here to be this not quite see-through blackish plastic, as to where it was originally completely clear, and you can see all the waffling in here and the interior of the car, which there is no interior, so there's real no point in having clear. And due to fan feedback, they changed that. I'm kind of happy they did. You can still see through it, but it's not nearly as bad. It might show up in the review more than you can see it in actual light, because I have a pretty bright light. But without any further ado, let's get to the review.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
All right, first let's take a look at this packaging. This packaging is a really cool package. One of the things that actually really bothers me about this is I got this from GameStop and I ordered it online. It came with a bend in the flap, so be wary of that if you order it online. One of the good things is, as you can see, there's no crease, and I can straighten that out like that. It won't have a crease. Maybe a little bit of a ripple, but it will not have a crease. So I'm gonna take something, put something heavy on top of it to get that nice and straight again. So getting in close to the packaging here, you see Gigawatt in his car form. It comes in the Delorean mode, and you see him the robot mode right there, looking at the non-existent watch on his arm in the classic Back to the Future pose. Nice little rendering of him. On the top, you get a few of these transformation steps. On the side, you see him right there in the robot in car mode, and with the little hook on right here and there. On the back, you get tech specs, Back to the Future 35, Transformers. This is great. I really like the back, how they do this. Really nice. One thing that I should have done, I actually opened this already. Open it on this side. If you open it this side, this actually is a flap that folds down as it's like rolling out of the trailer. I missed that, and then you could pull the whole thing out that direction. I pulled it out this way. It's okay, it's fine. I might even display him in this because he goes right back in the box very easily and is not loose in there. Anyway, the bottom of the box, you see the Transformers crossover logo, and you see the car and the robot himself. Just really want to show you this guys real quick. Whoa, as I drop the box. Opening the flap, on the inside, you see printed 1.21 gigawatts, and it has a little flux capacitor logo right there. Thought that was very cool. Needed to share that. So inside the packaging, you do get instruction sheet, which has the same rendered image on the front, done in that teal and blue color that is popular now for the booklet. So this booklet's actually quite sizable. It's not a small booklet. It's big images for a small figure. It's much larger than the Earthrise. So you get nice, clear instructions on how to do everything here, the car, and transform it, and what it can do, and where to put everything. And you got the out of time back into the car right there. Really nice, very clear instructions. So inside the packaging, it's pretty cool too. It actually has sort of like a blueprint of a DeLorean. It's not the Back to the Future modified DeLorean, but it has a flux capacitor. It has the engine inside here. It looks like it was maybe from DeLorean, and it shows the front, back, and side, and with 1.21 gigawatts right there. And it kind of closes up like this and houses the car in the bubble there. And of course you get a weapon. You get his gun, which does bear a more than a passing resemblance to Optimus Prime's weapon. You also get Mr. Fusion, which, see if I can get focused on this. It doesn't want to focus. So it actually says, it is tiny too. There, see if you can read that on maybe a large format. It says Mr. Fusion on the side, which is very cool. Nice detail, nice little tiny detail on that. And you get the rod. Now the rod, if you notice, is a bit bent, which is a shame. I need to run this under some hot water and then some cold water to straighten this out. But it does come package bent, but it is a pliable, like rubbery plastic, so it's not too big of a deal. And the DeLorean itself. So let's get in close to this DeLorean a little bit here. All right, now that we get in real nice and close to the DeLorean itself, there is just a ton of detail on this. One thing just to note that these are black and not gray like they would be. I don't know why they did that. Gray kind of would be a little nicer, it'd make more sense. Overall though, I don't really mind it. On the back, let's see if we can focus. It does say out of time with the California license plate. It's very cool. Painted tail lights, painted silver under these. And I'm not sure, but I think, oh, that is a feature. The whole car is painted. If you look in the back here, you can see the little painted bits. So you can see where the plutonium goes, or the Mr. Fusion, and all the little techno things. You can see the little waffle sort of through the front, but again, I got a really bright light, so it's very apparent in this. One thing he does not have is the DMC logo on the front, which I find curious, actually. It looks kind of naked without it, to me. But it's got this, it's okay. All the details are good. It's got this nice brushed metal sort of look to like the stainless steel on the car itself. And all the details are really, really nice. Like it's got these cables here, actually cables on the side of the car. It's done up very cool. Nicely detailed, like rims. I mean, all around is just got some killer detail, which is something I totally appreciate with this. This is a car that begs for detail, and they did not disappoint at all. Let's see if I can get the shine on this. It's really hard to pick up on camera, but it's got a weird iridescence to it that looks really nice. It doesn't really show up, but it does look really nice, and painted differences here. Now the doors don't actually open. They do for transformation, but opening them will only show robot bits, so there's no point in having them open. So I just kind of leave them closed. But it does have a feature that is very cool, and one thing I want to do is to show how it works. So there are two hinges here. There's a hinge for your transformation, which kind of goes like that, and then there's a hinge for the wheels to fold under and they snap. So you kind of put one finger behind here and hold this piece right here in place, and then turn that over and kind of snap it together like that. So then you get the correct sort of way to put the wheels. So they both kind of stick out a bit. And that goes the same with the back. And the back don't go all the way around because it doesn't need it for transformation. It goes like that. And you could have the DeLorean in flying mode. Also, with Mr. Fusion, kind of put Mr. Fusion on there, which is disappointing because it barely stays. I mean, it'll stay, but not well. Which is unfortunate. It does kind of fall off really, really easy, but there it is. In Back to the Future 2 mode. It does have a point port here for a stand, if you would like to put it on a stand, which would look really cool. I don't happen to have one of those stands, so I can't display it like that, but I would like to get one. And also, one more thing it does have, a little feature. It has the Back to the Future 1. Take the Mr. Fusion off. And put the hook, goes right into the hole on the top there. So you could recreate the scene in Back to the Future 1. All right, now moving on here, let's compare them to a model of the Back to the Future car that I happen to have, the Delorean. So you can see it's pretty close, other than the aforementioned silver on the time machine parts. It's really close to a model. Very nice. I mean, overall, it fits the bill perfectly. It really does. It really fits the bill nice. I mean, you can see some of the robot bits outside there, but it's still, you know, it's something that I appreciate the level of detail that went into this. Definitely appreciate the level of detail that went into this. Okay, taking a look at Siege Red Alert, because I don't have Sideswipe, but this is the same exact mold that this is based off of. So you can see kind of how they compare together. I mean, just the level of retooling on this guy is through the roof. They don't even look like they share any of the same tooling at all. But they actually do. And it makes me wonder if these things were planned, because this right here, these pieces flip around in the same manner that these do during transformation, which leads me to believe that it probably was planned. Also, the arms, to where these arms just sit out here and don't connect, these arms actually peg in, which I'll get to in just a second when I start transforming this thing. One last thing to note on the actual figure here, all of his accessories could actually fit on him. So underside here, you have a peg hole right there. And as you can see, the gun. So it could go right under there like that and hold in, and it rolls pretty well like that. You can have both the hook and Mr. Fusion connected. So all of his accessories are right there, and they don't need to be stashed anywhere. You could even have all of them on the robot itself. And so that's pretty nice. I like those features. I miss those features in some of the Transformers. So let's get into transformation. Let's start out with opening the doors, if I can get them open. So they both open like so. And then what you want to do is take these little pieces here that are connected to the arms, kind of move that down and around like that on either side, like that. And then once the doors are open, you want to take the legs, open up the panels right here on the underside, and push, pull this around. Now what'll happen here, here's the knees, and what happens here is these get pushed through, and as those get pushed through, it pushes out on the feet. So then you just grab the feet and they snap forward like so. Those go on the inside here. Close the panels on the front of the legs and disconnect them. And you turn the waist around all the way. Take the arms, unfold them out. Now, you want to leave a little bit of room here. You don't want to fold them out straight like this. You actually want to fold them out a little bit more like that. And then what you want to do is you want to take the wheels here, like I kind of said before, and you want to turn them under, see how they're under like this, and then you want to kind of press them like that. So it's got that dual hinge here. So this is on a hinge, and then it goes like that. You do that for both sides. Then you take the hood and flip it up over the head. This is a part that could rub over time, is the paint up in there. See if I can get in there with the camera. The paint up in there actually could scrape on the head, and I'm afraid to do that too many times. So then you want to take the front part right here of the hood, which is on the other side, press here, because there's little pegs on the other side. Don't press here, you could break these pegs that are on this side. So you want to take that, press down, you'll hear the snap. Make sure the head's not in the way. Pull that all the way around. Push that down, and then you'll see these tabs right in there, right there. And there's a slot right there. So those just tab into the slot like that. That holds nice and tight. And that goes for both sides. Of course, it doesn't want to do it on this side when I'm doing it on camera, but it does it pretty easily. So then you want to take the arms, unfold the hand, straighten out the elbow on either side. And there you have Gigawatt in his robot form. Now in his robot form, as you do see this giant flux capacitor in his chest, which is a wonderful detail. Even cooler is getting in super close. If my camera wants to actually do it, there you go. And you can see the dates. And what's cool about this is that it's on a piece of clear plastic, so it gives it that sort of readout, like an actual readout look. It's one of those nice little details that they didn't actually have to do. They could have easily printed this on a plain gray piece of plastic or a black piece of plastic, and then it wouldn't have looked as detailed as this. It is very cool that they did this. You got 2015, 1955, and 1985 there. I think that's wonderful. And then nicely blue painted flux capacitor, a silver around. And speaking of sculpting and detail, let's get in on that head sculpt. So man, I gotta tell you, this head sculpt is sick. It is one of my absolute favorite head sculpts I think we've gotten in a very long time. And head sculpts have been very good lately. This is a beautiful head sculpt. Oh man, it's just a great looking figure overall. Now the chest, as you can see, is a little bulky. It is pretty wide. I can understand if there's a complaint there. That makes sense. It's, you know, but it is part of the car, so there's not really much you could do about it besides tapering it off, which then it would just kind of look weird. And going down to the knees here, you got two more flux capacitors that are unpainted. These are just molded in a gray plastic, and some detail on the shins there. And going around, of course, you have the legs part. You can see in the back of the car. The wings, has the gull wings here, like that. I think it's beautiful. I really, really like this here feature. It also has, you get in there, a place to store the weapon under the wing, which also is really nice, very, very thoughtful. Overall, it's a really fun mode. It's just really, really cool. Now getting into accessories, he does have his weapon. Now, there is a problem with the weapon. So the weapon, as you see, has this piece on the end there, on the back, and it has another of the same type of port on the top. Now that is for Mr. Fusion. Now this comes packaged with Mr. Fusion on the back of the gun like this. And, you know, when you try to put it in his hand, you can kind of tell it's kind of crooked in there. It doesn't really stay straight. It doesn't really peg in there all too well. So the instructions actually say to put this thing on the top, which holds in nicely. It's not going to go off. And you could stick the gun in, it holds much better. So that's okay, I guess. It would be much, I think it'd be much nicer if it kind of went under or even off to the side. So it could be like more like a clip. It would be really a lot better if it was like a clip. But it, you know, it is what it is. And then in the instructions, it says for this, the hook to go on the arm, like into his arm peg right there. Now he does have the 5mm peg, speaking of, like I mentioned, the one on the back. He has two on his arm, and he has 4 on his feet. These technically aren't peg holes. These are peg holes. So I guess he is compatible with any of the weaponizer figures. So let's get into a little bit of articulation, and before we get into comparison. So for articulation, he does have all the way around on the shoulder. It does hinder a little bit right here. You kind of got to move the arm out. That's, again, just not even real big of an issue. Shoulder goes up. He has 360 at the bicep swivel. 90 at the elbow. He does have, show it in this hand, because he does have full, oh, he does not, sorry, he does not have any wrist swivel. But that's because of transformation, his hands go in. And he has full 360 at the waist, all the way back on the leg, front and back. His knee is a problem. His knee only goes that far due to transformation. So he doesn't have a lot of range on the knees, which is kind of a bummer. But I guess that is what it is. And he has ankle tilts that actually go about that far. So not too bad. Not too bad on the articulation. Oh, his head also is on a ball joint and goes 360. It kind of wants to look down a little bit here. Instead of here, it gets more range over to the side than it does in the front. But overall, not too bad besides those knees. And getting into comparison, here he is with Siege Red Alert. So as you can tell, they do have a lot of similarities. These, the crotch piece, the legs, the lower parts of the arms, as I mentioned before, the top piece here that goes around the head, and even where the ball joint on the head sits is all very, very much the same. You see from the back, they have that similar knee thing, only he has a lot more range in the knee because this part blocks it. You see how they look from the side and the front, and of course they are the same height. Lastly, because I can, here he is with Siege Optimus Prime. So overall, this is a great figure. I absolutely love it. I think he's good for fans of Back to the Future and fans of Transformers, or fans of either. I think that it is awesome, and I really, really strongly suggest buying one if you could pick it up. It does do a lot of nice little things, and it has some nice little details. It looks good in both modes. It has some nice play features. It comes in a really nice box. You can display it however you want to. Get two of them, keep one in the box, put one, out, or you can just out on your shelf. You can also display it as the robot. Either way, there's a lot of things you could do with it. I really like this figure. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it, other than the posability in his knees is abysmal. And I wish there was a little bit more paint, but the paint that it does have is done very nicely. So he's a great figure. I like how the doors actually stay on the back, even though they don't open this way and it's not the complete door. It gives it a nice look. It gives a nice homage to the car. Overall, a lot of thought went into this character. A lot of thought went into this figure. And this is a crossover that I really enjoy. I'm a pretty big Back to the Future fan. I always have been. So this is right up my alley. So if you happen to see one of these at retail, my suggestion is to get it. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, hit the thumbs down if you have to, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.